Scoundrels, what is going on? Coin check, patch check, ring check, all those checks are out of the way. I'm back. I know it was kind of a long time coming for bourbon, but bourbon's freaking expensive, so I had to kind of restock a little bit, get some old ones that I've already reviewed, drank and drunk and out of the way. And now I plan on buying a couple here and there and restarting the reviews again. Because at some point I was like, well, I've had that. So there's lots of new stuff that's coming out. And I'm back. So the first one we're going to start with today, I'm going to be reviewing this one. Ooh, yeah. I might be a little rusty, so please forgive me. This is 1712 North Carolina bourbon whiskey. Southern Spirits. This came from barrel number 60. And this is the 253rd bottle ever made. That's pretty rad. Here's what's unique about this. First of all, the bottle's badass. The marketing's great. That's a good looking bottle. And it comes with a cork, which you already know if you've read my past reviews. Man, do I love a good cork. I like the sound. I think it's a nice touch on a great bourbon. Or what I'm assuming is a great bourbon. So I did have a little bit of this, but I didn't really analyze it. I just got really excited and popped it open and tasted it real quick because this was a gift from my friends Jimmy and Kelly Wells. Thank you so much. They went to North Carolina and I got the hookup. They brought this over as a gift, and it was pleasantly surprising. I will say I did look up the price. It's around $32 to $34, depending on where you buy it. Okay? It does say barrel rested in oak and yellow birch, aged for, I want to say that's 24 months. I don't think it's a 29-month because that's an awkward time. But this down here, it's handwritten on each bottle, which is a beautiful touch to it. So I'm just going to go aged with 24 months. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I apologize. On the back, it says distilled and bottled by Foothills Distilling Company, LLC in Conover, North Carolina. The bourbon in this bottle is some of the finest young bourbon to be produced, made with hand-selected corn, rye, and malted barley from local Carolina farmers. This was very, very farm-to-table oriented. That's what I got from the information right here. It was double distilled, aged in New American oak barrels filled with yellow birchwood, which is very unique, and I'll talk about that a little later. Because nobody else is doing that. Then, yellow birchwood, then bottled without charcoal filtering, resulting in an abundant flavor and hints of butterscotch, where we are pleased to share our creations. 1712 is the first grown, distilled, and aged bourbon in North Carolina since Prohibition. I like that. And the reason why I like that little backing here is because it didn't get into like the super gimmicky, like, it almost seems like every bottle of bourbon is always like, my settlers came over here on nothing but a rowboat and fought a kraken just to produce this whiskey for good old red-blooded Americans. Which there's some folklore to that, and most of them are, very, very rich history. I kind of like that modern touch. You're like, hey, this is where it is. This is where it's at. This is where we're going with it. So it's very, very cool. It does give you a tasty note that we're supposed to taste butterscotch in here. So I will look for that. Okay. So other than that, kudos on the bottle. Great marketing. Love that. Love the big old bourbon right here. It just looks like a more expensive bottle of bourbon than $32 to $34. Hear that pop? Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, I love a good cork. Even That's an artificial cork, by the way. Even those artificial corks, I still like that sound. Let's give her a good pour. That's a decent pour. It's a decent pour. Now, I do apologize if this is 86 proof. I do apologize if I'm a little rusty. This might be all over the place. It might be a long review because I'm trying to get my feet wet again in the bourbon review things. I've been reviewing knives for quite some time. Let's give her a smell. First of all, check out that color. For a young whiskey, it is a little lighter in person than what it's showing on my camera. It's a tad bit lighter than that, not by much though. But that looks like just like the richest light copperish leather. It's almost like a new penny. Very, very nice on the color. The legs are very impressive on it. If you kind of look for only being aged 24 months, I'm going to go with 24 months because 29 months is weird and it's handwritten, so I can't really tell. The legs look good. There's lots of oil. Looks thick. Looks nice. So, let's give her a smell. Ooh. Okay. First thing I get on the nose is it is a light bourbon. Very light. I'm going to go on a limb without really tasting this and say this is going to be a great summer bourbon, right? So you don't want anything something super dark and rich. If you're going to drink bourbon in the summer, you want something a little light, little nice. You can tell, wow. There's almost like a nice melon, like on the retrohale, like breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. There's this beautiful, almost, I get that the same as I got in a Sexton single malt, which is different because one's Irish, this is American bourbon. But it almost has that high C, fun, fruity melon taste, or not taste, smell to it. Like a honeydew. That's what it is. Oh, buddy. It smells like you just cut open a fresh honeydew. A little bit of oak. Tiny bit of oak. I don't know exactly what birchwood smells like, but there is a woodsiness to this that is not oak. Oh, I don't get much butterscotch. Not getting butterscotch on the nose. Okay, I could smell that all day. You could wear that as a cologne. A touch of honey? The main smell to this is a little bit of woodsy, oaky, woodsy smell because there is that birch in there. It's not very distinctive. It's light. But boy, if you put honey, if you put like a honey on a honeydew melon, right there, that's what it smells like. It's light, bright. It's fun. It smells fun. Let's give her a taste. Cheers. Okay. So, how do I describe this? It's light. It's very light. It's light. How it smells, the flavor. I don't want to do this any discredit. So, the flavor on this is light, but not in a bad way light. It's not a, I don't mean that in a bad way. There is a very, very beautiful, creamy mouth feel to this. Light and creamy, if you will. Almost like a nice light whipped cream. as far as the way it coats your mouth is just wonderful. It is really, really, that's one of the most pleasant mouthfeels I've had in a very long time as far as bourbon, and especially surprising because this bourbon is so young. I do get melon, that honeydew melon right on the forefront. Like it cuts right to it. Boy, it tastes how honeydew smells, and it smells like how honeydew is. It's very, very bright, very fruity, surprisingly fruity. As you sip it and you let that chemical reaction happen in your mouth, you can distinct of there's a little bit of sweet caramel to this. There is a tiny, I mean, it would almost be a stretch to say cinnamon. I'm going to say cinnamon because it's a little spicy. But if you don't get that cinnamon, or if you think I'm full of shit on that, I could see how you could argue that point. There's like a nice corn note to that where it develops. And then that oakiness or that woodsy taste at the end is very unique. Because they put that yellow birch in there, I can't really distinct. You can tell that there is oak. It was aged in oak. But then it kind of forms and twists and morphs into this like a brighter woodsy smell, almost like a fresh, like a live tree that's just been hit with an axe, and you can smell that. It's bright. It reminds me of life. I keep saying bright a lot, but this is one of the brighter bourbons I've ever had. That melon smell, though, oh, buddy. This smell is pretty extraordinary. The finish is very short, but I wouldn't expect anything other than that on a 24-month aged bourbon. It's a little warm. Nothing overly warm. It's not burning my throat or nothing like that. A little bit of tickle on the finish. Nice little bit of caramel on the finish. Well, I'm going to tell you what. What a great young bourbon, first of all. That's going to be my final conclusion on this is just, it's good. It's good, even for $32 to $34, which isn't an expensive bourbon. It's a budget bourbon. But, you know, I like to stay within that 35, the 20 to 35 range. I think that's a really good range of, you can get some really decent budget bourbons in there. And I'm not a rich man. So, it's fantastic. You should really get some. But the uniqueness in this is that fruity melon and that honeydew, honey. Like if you put honey on honeydew, I know that it's very honey forward. And then you get that melony. I just burped on video. That's great. Good job, YouTube. But boy, if you get anything from this, just smell it. Recognize that bright, fruity melon smell, and then taste it. And you can taste where that melon smells and then transfers over to your palate, which is very, very nice, especially for such a young bourbon. It is very unique as far as that birchwood, that yellow birchwood that they put in the American oak barrels, the new charred American oak barrels. Trying to see if I'm missing anything. I don't get butterscotch from this at all, which is a little disappointing to me, especially because it says it on the back of the bottle that I'm supposed to get butterscotch. Maybe my palate's off, or it's not as refined as somebody who made this, but I'm not getting butterscotch at all. I would say honeydew, honeysuckle, something on those sorts, melony, cantaloupe, something as far as that. That yellow birch does put a nice hint of brightness and life and green. This reminds me of springtime. It reminds me of summer. This is what I'm going to pull out in the summertime when somebody wants to have a bright, nice bourbon. So that's my review. Hopefully it was not too unbearable. Let me know what you guys think. I'm just trying to get my feet wet again in this. So my bourbon reviews kind of got there and then I digressed a little bit. So I'm coming back. All right. Please click like and subscribe if you think this was a decent review. Comment. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know if you got the same flavors I got from this. I love to hear from you guys, and I try to reply back to everybody. So, as always, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Everything else like that. And I will be back hopefully next week with another bourbon review. All right? Later.